We did actually really good on our peppers last year in our garden, and at the end of the year we had quite a few that were still left on the plants, and we just picked all those off and put them in an open bowl in the freezer to kind of like freeze dry them to speed up the process of drying them. But I need the freezer space, so I pulled them out of the freezer and get them on the smoker just to finish them off. And then when this is all done, when they're good and dry, I'm gonna grind them up into like a hot pepper powder. And yes, as you can see, it is snowing again. I don't think we're gonna get a whole lot. I think they're saying maybe somewhere from like 1 to 3 inches. I hope it's more like 1, but it's not gonna last long because we're not gonna stay cold enough. It's gonna melt, I think, probably over the next couple days, whatever we do get. Luckily, because I'll tell you what, after being almost completely buried for the entire month of January, I am done with snow. I am ready for spring. I'm not actually smoking the peppers, but I'd imagine that could be tasty too. Our rooster Whitey is in jail, unfortunately, and it's not a decision that I make lightly to separate a chicken from the flock, because I know that it can be really hard to reintegrate them, especially if it's a rooster. Even though he's out here in the chicken run, still able to interact with the other chickens, it's just taking them out of the flock changes the dynamic of the flock, and then reintegration, like I said, can be extremely difficult, and I've experienced that more than once. So it took me a while to make this decision to separate him out. Whitey was being so mean and aggressive to our other cockerel, Rockstar, who was a great cockerel. I mean, not a cockerel, he's a rooster now. As soon as Rockstar tries to go in the coop and sees Whitey in there, he will not go in there. Whitey has been attacking Rockstar. Rockstar is terrified of him. This isn't going to resolve easy. And we saw Whitey today brutalizing some of the hens, and just not good. Just a lot of not good stuff. And it's unfortunate, but Whitey's got to get out of the chicken coop. And it's the strangest thing because Whitey was such a great rooster. In fact, out of that brood that had hatched from our mama hen, there were 4 roosters born, and 3 of them, as soon as they hit maturity, they were too aggressive, and we ended up butchering them. Whitey was the only one that we kept because he seemed like he was a pretty good dude. So it's just this year, Whitey's hormones are raging, and for whatever reason, he's taking it out on Rockstar. There's Whitey. I don't know what our plans are with Whitey. Whitey's kind of like a part of the family now, so yeah, I don't know. It's a shame. Let's see what all the other chickens are up to. Next line of business is to tap trees. I wanted to do it the last week or two, but Glenn came down with a cold, and then I came down with a cold, and our son Quinn came down with a cold, and so we spent the last 2 weeks just basically fighting off a cold, and I still got a little bit of it lingering. Probably end up using like 7 or 8. And like I said previously, I'm not tapping as many trees this year as I have in the past because we don't consume that much maple syrup anymore. And my abdomen is really weak after surgery, and I don't want to be can't be carrying heavy buckets all through the woods and everything. It's just not safe right now. But I'm gonna just pick my favorite trees and tap those this year to maximize things a little bit. Come on, Coach, ready? It's not even really that cold. I think it's just barely freezing temperature. This maple isn't our easiest tree to get to, but it has been one of the best trees that we've tapped, so I think it's definitely worth it to come up here and tap it again. I always forget something. This is a black walnut here that I'm tapping. It's one of two that I'm going to do. Black walnut syrup is amazing. I absolutely love it. It's very, very similar to maple syrup. It's just kind of has a different flavor profile, but not by much. And I really thought nothing would be running today, but this black walnut is actually dripping really good. It seems like every year I tap trees, I pick the nastiest day to do it. I think every year I say I'm not going to tap this tree again. When we first started tapping it, it produced really great, but over like the last 3 years, it just has not done that well, and I just don't know why. But I'm gonna try again this year anyway, because it's super, super close to the house and it's so easy to access. This one has always been a really good producer too. Not as close to the house. Hi, cutie. Hi, cutie. Hi, cutie. I have 2 more trees that I want to tap. One is a black walnut. The other one is a maple that's not exactly close to the house, but I had just tapped it for the first time kind of at the end of maple syrup season last year, and it was a great producer, so I'm really excited to tap that one again and see how it goes. And I know there were a few people that had commented previously on when I tried experimenting with tapping a hickory tree and asked if I'd be willing to do it again this year. So I'm going to tap a hickory tree again this year and see what happens, because the first time that I did it, it didn't really flow. Like almost nothing came out of it, and then finally when something did, it was super, super thick. Like it was a syrup consistency already, and it just wouldn't like run, it wouldn't flow. It only ended up getting like a few drops like on top of the bucket kind of, but it tasted good. It was sweet, but I couldn't get any volume out of it. So we'll see what happens this year. And yeah, I need to get some more buckets. If you're looking for information on tapping your own trees and how to and all that good stuff, we've put out videos in the past about that, and I'll link to those in the description. Trees, well, 3 trees are actually running. 2 black walnuts and this maple right here, which I think this might be a sugar maple, but I can't remember. So now I'm gonna go tap that hickory tree, and yeah, we'll see what we get out of it this year, if anything. I'm not entirely sure what type of hickory tree this is. We thought at one time it was a pignut hickory, but I'm not so sure that's the case, because the pignut hickory nuts are very unappetizing, and the nuts that come off this tree, they are very edible. I'll say the inside of this tree is very, very dry. Like a lot of times when you tap trees, the shavings that come out will be a little bit moist, but this one is very dry. I did have an idea of something that I would like to try though, because like I said, we don't really eat much maple syrup anymore, but I use the maple sugar for bread and things like that. But an idea I had is I make all my own ketchup and barbecue sauce, stuff like that, but particularly ketchup. And instead of using sugar in my ketchup, which I use very little, it's not very sweetened, maybe I could try using maple syrup in my ketchup. I wonder what that would be like. I might do that. Guys, are you just gonna stay under there all day? I'm getting worried that because it started snowing after the chickens went under the deck, that they might not go get in the coop tonight because they hate crossing the snow. Really depends on how deep the snow gets as to whether or not they'll cross it, but that could be something I have to deal with later this evening, is trying to get all the chickens back in the coop. Looks like Rockstar's brave enough to trek across the snow. Making a run for it? I don't blame you, it's warmer in there. Yay! Now I wish they all would go ahead and get in the coop before the snow gets any deeper. Because I've had before where they just get trapped under the deck because it snows during the day a whole lot, and then when it comes nighttime, I have to carry each and every one of them from under the deck and put them in the coop. It's not fun. They'll be on there a while. They probably won't come off till later this evening.
Shooting star, I'm without a safety net. Give me a ride. I'm going far beyond where the sun sets. Dear, I'm no longer scared. Your glow brings me comfort. I'm filled with light. Tiptoe dance with me through the shadow play. Moon, I'm on my way. Shooting star, I'm without a safety net. Shooting star, I'm without a safety net. Give me a ride. I'm going far beyond where the sun sets. Show your tail in the night. Keep it glowing steady and bright.
It has snowed a good bit. I don't know, maybe an inch and a half. It just came down really fast today. Hopefully it'll be tapering off soon. Super wet snow. You see it's all stuck to the fence. And coming out to see if the chickens actually got in the coop. I'm expecting that they didn't. That's why I have my headlamp on, because I'm prepared. So let's go see. Oh, yay! You guys did get in here. Good job, guys. I'm so surprised. Yay, I am super, super happy that I don't have to go chase chickens under the deck tonight. It's just not a good time. Well, I guess that's it for tonight. Got a lot accomplished, and very, very beautiful snow. This wet snow is just gorgeous how it sticks to everything, because it's only like 32 or so degrees. It got up to like 34 today, so yeah, it's just barely cold enough to snow, and that's when you get it super wet and sticky. But I am glad that it's not going to last long, because we have some rain coming tomorrow, and then the next day is well above freezing and sunny, so all this should melt pretty quick. I just hope we don't get much more than this.